Picture this, right? It's a Tuesday evening, you just got home from work, you are completely exhausted, and the absolute last thing you want to do is stare into the abyss of your refrigerator to try and assemble a meal.
Oh yeah, the classic Tuesday night dilemma. We've all been there.
Exactly. So you pull out your phone, you swipe, you tap a few times, and dinner is on its way. It just feels incredibly routine now, almost like a basic utility.
It really does, like turning on the water.
Right. But behind that piece of glass is this rapidly evolving logistical engine that is completely upending the economics of dining. So today we're doing a deep dive into an industry breakdown titled Benefits of Food Delivery App.
It's a fascinating report.
It really is. Our mission today is to look past just the convenience of, skipping the dinner line and explore how these apps are fundamentally reshaping how restaurants operate from the ground up and really changing how we actually eat.
And I think we need to highlight the sheer scale of this shift right up front because it is difficult to overstate.
Oh, for sure.
Like, the report cites a Statista projection that is just wild. We are looking at an online food delivery market expected to hit a staggering $473.49 billion by 2026.
Wait, almost $500 billion?
Yeah, nearly $500 billion is currently shifting through the invisible infrastructure of these applications. I mean, it's not just a convenience industry anymore, right?
Right. That puts it on par with major global industries.
Exactly. It's become the dominant economic force that basically dictates whether local restaurants survive or shut their doors.
Okay, so before we dig into the back-end restaurant survival tactics, we really have to isolate what is driving this massive adoption on the consumer side. Why are you, the listener, so irrevocably hooked on this specific interface?
Well, obviously, we all know it's convenient.
Right. You don't carry cash. You don't have to drive. You can browse 10 different cuisines in your sweatpants.
Yeah, exactly. The report outlines all those benefits, the multiple payment options, the digital wallet, saving on gas. But those are kind of surface-level perks,
Right. So let's unpack this a bit. I mean, I have to play devil's advocate here for a second. Is this just enabling peak laziness? Or is there a functional shift happening in how we interact with food?
What's fascinating here is that it's absolutely a functional shift.
Mm-hmm.
It comes down to a fundamental change in how trust is established.
Trust. How so?
Think about the legacy model of delivery. You call a local place, you place an order, and then you just enter this void of uncertainty.
Oh my gosh, yes. The dreaded "it's on its way" phone call.
Right. You have no idea when the food is actually coming or if they even started cooking it. The modern app interface replaced that uncertainty with data transparency.
You mean the real-time tracking?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Watching that little car icon move down the digital street is not just a fun UI graphic. It's a psychological tool.
That's a great point. It actively builds trust and eliminates the friction of having to call and ask for updates.
And it drastically reduces your perception of waiting. Plus, minimal contact options have become a huge deal, which also adds a layer of safety and removes even more friction.
I mean, it's almost like the app acts as a remote control for your city's entire culinary map.
That's a really good analogy, actually.
Yeah, you just have a dashboard that commands dozens of commercial kitchens right from your living room couch. Especially for people who live in remote areas or the outer suburbs with limited dining options.
Yeah, that geographical expansion is crucial. Historically, your dining options were dictated purely by your immediate physical proximity. Like, the delivery radius of a local pizza place was maybe, 3 miles?
If you were lucky, yeah.
But now, third-party logistics networks have stretched that radius significantly. The app infrastructure aggregates demand across a wider area and routes independent drivers to fulfill it.
So they're effectively decoupling the restaurant's location from its potential customer base.
Precisely.
Okay, so the app removes all friction and geographical limits for you on the couch. But that exact frictionless experience has to create an avalanche of chaotic orders on the other end.
Oh, it really does.
Let's flip the screen around. How does a chef actually manage this? Because a Friday night kitchen is already a high-pressure environment. Throwing 50 digital orders on top of the physical dining room just sounds like a recipe for a total operational meltdown.
Well, it absolutely was a meltdown in the early days. Manual ordering during peak hours, taking calls, scribbling down modifications on paper pads. It's highly susceptible to costly mistakes.
Yeah, a dropped paper ticket on a busy Friday means an angry customer and wasted ingredients.
Right, and it completely bottlenecks the workflow. But what changed, according to the breakdown, is the integration of online delivery management software.
Okay, so it automates the pipeline. I want to make sure I fully understand the mechanics of that. When I hit order on my phone, no human at the restaurant is actually taking that order.
In a fully integrated system, no. The digital order bypasses the front-of-house staff entirely. It's routed directly into the restaurant's point-of-sale system.
Oh, wow, so they don't even have to punch it in?
Exactly. It instantly populates on a digital kitchen display system, basically a screen right in front of the line cooks. Perfectly typed, all modifications clearly lifted.
That frees up the physical staff to actually manage the in-house diners instead of acting as human telephone operators.
It drastically reduces error rates, but crucially, we have to talk about the data aspect of this software.
Right, because a traditional maitre d' might remember a few regulars, but they don't have a photographic memory of every single customer's ordering habits.
Exactly. Historically, independent restaurants operate completely in the dark regarding customer analytics.
Just relying on foot traffic and broad local ads, right?
Yeah. But now, every single transaction is logged. The software tracks exactly what you ordered, what time of day it was, how often you visit.
Wait, I'm a bit confused here. A mom-and-pop pizza shop doesn't have an IT department or a data scientist on payroll. How are they actually turning raw app data into actionable business strategy?
That is the genius of the modern software. The platform itself acts as an automated CRM, a customer relationship management tool.
So they don't need to write code or query databases.
Not at all. The dashboard analyzes the trends automatically. For example, it can identify a segment of customers who used to order every week but haven't placed an order in the last 30 days.
Ah, so it flags lapsed customers.
And it goes a step further. It cross-references what those lapsed customers typically buy and automatically sends out a highly personalized marketing message.
Like sending a special deal to a customer for their favorite specific item.
Exactly. A text offering 15% off their favorite spicy tuna roll. It's data-driven decision-making that levels the playing field.
So it allows local cafes to run sophisticated campaigns that were once reserved for massive corporate chains. That's a massive technological leap.
It really is a game changer.
But this brings us to a core dilemma for these restaurant owners, right?
Yeah.
Because getting these digital tools and accessing that massive customer base is definitely not free.
No, it is very much not free.
If these tools are a goldmine, how do they actually get onto your screen? The source breaks down this massive business-defining dilemma they face, the build versus rent scenario.
Yeah, do they build their own in-house app, or do they rent space on a giant third-party platform?
Let's break down the table from the source, starting with the third-party platforms, the giants like Uber Eats and DoorDash.
Right. DoorDash holds roughly 60% of the U.S. market, and Uber Eats is sitting around 23 to 30%. For a restaurant, the barrier to entry there is incredibly low.
Low setup cost, right? You sign a contract, they send you a tablet, and overnight you have access to a massive built-in audience.
Millions of hungry scrollers.
Yeah.
But the trade-off is severe. These platforms charge astronomical commissions, typically ranging from 15% to 35% on every single order.
Okay, I have to push back hard on those numbers. 35% commission. What does this all mean for a small business?
It's a huge squeeze.
The restaurant industry is notoriously brutal when it comes to razor-thin margins. A well-run place is lucky to pull a 5% to 10% profit margin. Why would anyone willingly give up a third of their revenue?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, you have to realize they are no longer just paying for delivery logistics. They're paying for customer acquisition.
Paying for visibility.
Exactly. In the modern economy, visibility is survival. If you aren't listed on the major apps, for a huge demographic of consumers, your restaurant simply does not exist.
So they're paying a digital landlord for foot traffic. But how do they not just go bankrupt?
They adapt by altering their pricing structure. To absorb that 35% commission, they inflate the prices of the items specifically on the app.
Ah, the app tax. So the consumer is absorbing it. But there are other downsides to the third-party apps too, right?
Yes, they severely limit your brand identity. The customer feels like they ordered from DoorDash, not from the local bistro. The platform absorbs the credit, and crucially, the platform owns the customer data.
Right, which means the restaurant can't run those personalized marketing campaigns we just talked about, which explains why the alternative, the first-party app, is so tempting.
Building your own app means zero third-party commissions. You retain full customer data, and you have higher long-term profit margins.
But the upfront development cost is huge, right?
Massive. And beyond the software development, you require self-marketing.
Yeah.
You have to convince a consumer to download a single-use app that only serves your specific restaurant.
Oh, yeah. The friction of downloading, creating an account, entering credit card info that usually stops me dead in my tracks.
Exactly, which is why many restaurants are adopting a hybrid model. They use the giant third-party apps for discovery and customer acquisition, and then try to funnel them to their own platform for repeat business.
Like slipping a flyer into the delivery bag, offering a discount if they order directly next time.
Precisely, it's a constant tug of war.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. If the biggest hurdles to expansion are the high costs of physical spaces, renting dining rooms, and the high fees of delivery apps, what happens if a restaurant just gets rid of the restaurant?
Then you enter the ghost kitchen revolution.
I love this concept. I compare the ghost kitchen model to cloud computing, but for dumplings.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Right. If you're a tech startup, you don't build a new server farm in your basement. You just rent processing power exactly where you need it. Ghost kitchens are doing the exact same thing, but renting kitchen space.
The report highlights the Wow Bao case study, which is the perfect example of this.
Right. Wow Bao, the Chicago-based brand famous for bao buns, rice bowls, and dumplings.
They wanted to expand, but they bypassed expensive dine-in expansion entirely
Yeah.
by adopting this cloud kitchen model.
So they don't have their own physical dining rooms.
Nope. They prepare food in existing commercial kitchens. Think local diners or catering facilities that have excess capacity, while Bao sends them the ingredients and recipes.
And it's exclusively for delivery apps.
Yes, requiring zero dine-in space. The local kitchen cooks the food, but it's sold under the Wow Bao name online.
That's wild. You could have a line cook flipping burgers for a diner's physical customers, and on the next monitor, they're steaming dumplings for Wow Bao digital tickets.
Exactly. And the results are staggering. Wow Bao scaled to over 700 locations in the US and Canada in a fraction of the usual time.
700 locations without buying a single dining room chair.
They capitalized on the rising demand for delivery while slashing traditional startup costs like rent and front-of-house staffing. It completely disrupts the barriers to entry in the culinary world.
Okay, so the Wow Bao model solves scale perfectly, but we need to look at the edge cases here, because not every food app is about maximizing corporate profits, and not every traditional restaurant is thriving under this new system.
Right, there are definitely hidden drawbacks and alternative models out there.
The source mentions food sharing apps. This is a whole subsector trying to solve entirely different problems, right?
Yeah, these are platforms designed explicitly to reduce food waste, build community connections, and offer affordable meals.
The concept is great, like connecting a bakery that has surplus bagels at closing time with people who want a cheap meal.
It is great in theory, but they face immense logistical hurdles.
I can imagine.
Yeah, maintaining food safety, proper temperature regulation outside of the standardized commercial pipeline, it introduces significant liability and food safety concerns.
And pivoting back to the traditional restaurants, the ones juggling in-house diners with a flood of app orders, while their revenue might go up, it sounds like operational chaos.
It forces an intense new competition. This raises an important question about what restaurants are actually prioritizing now.
Yeah, because if an app makes it just as easy to order from a massive ghost kitchen 10 miles away as it is to order from the mom-and-pop diner down the street, aren't we just homogenizing the local food scene?
That's a very real concern. While apps provide great brand exposure, they also force restaurants to compete in this endless digital scroll.
And the algorithm dictates the winners.
Exactly. And the data shows that delivery time is the #1 most important factor for customers using these apps. Speed beats everything.
So it beats out unique culinary atmosphere or even the quality of the ingredients.
Often, yes. When speed is the priority, restaurants are forced to optimize for how well a dish travels in a cardboard box, rather than how it actually tastes fresh out of the kitchen.
So we're compressing culinary art into a logistics problem.
Unfortunately, in a lot of ways, yes.
Wow. So just to briefly recap this journey, we started with food delivery apps as a simple convenience tool for customers, but tracing it backward, we see a complex digital infrastructure that now literally dictates restaurant survival.
It really does. It's forced the whole build versus rent platform war and spawned entirely new business models like ghost kitchens.
It's a massive shift.
It is. And as a listener, you should remember that every time you tap order on your phone, you are actively participating in a vast data exchange.
Right.
You're contributing to a $473 billion economic shift that changes how food is distributed in your own neighborhood.
Which leaves us with a fascinating and maybe slightly unsettling final question to ponder. As we optimize everything for speed, minimal human contact, and data collection, what happens to the traditional concept of the neighborhood restaurant?
Yeah. Where does it fit in?
Exactly. If the future of dining is just a hyper-efficient logistics network operating out of windowless commercial kitchens, are we sacrificing the soul of food just for the convenience of eating on our couches? And how long until the delivery giants bypass human chefs entirely and just build their own automated robotic kitchens? Something to think about the next time you order. Until next time, thanks for taking the deep dive with us.